The world held its breath one Wednesday morning. Roseanne Barr, a name that once echoed through the halls of American television fame, had just posted a scathing attack on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. A sharply worded tweet accused Jasmine of being nothing but another puppet in heels, questioning her character, her authenticity, and even her intelligence. Within minutes, the post was trending. But what no one expected, not Roseanne, not her followers, not even Jasmine, was how the story would unfold next. Jasmine Crockett had never asked for the spotlight. A former civil rights attorney turned public servant, she had built her reputation brick by brick, not through scandal or sound bites, but through service. She was the kind of person who stayed late to comfort grieving mothers after community shootings. She paid out of pocket to help constituents cover their electric bills during Texas freezes. And she always listened more than she spoke. When Roseanne's tweet hit the news cycle, Jasmine didn't rush to clap back. She didn't post a flashy video or give a fiery press conference. Instead, she stayed quiet. Because Jasmine believed something deeper. Character doesn't scream, it speaks through action. The internet, however, is its own beast. And while Jasmine remained silent, the digital world did what it does best, it remembered. Within hours, screenshots began surfacing. Old tweets from Roseanne, some offensive, some hypocritical, many now deleted, began circling the internet like hawks over a field. One, from 2011, read, "Greater than, we need more women in power who aren't afraid to speak truth to privilege." Another, from 2013, "Greater than, I love people who fight for the voiceless, even when it's unpopular." A 2015 tweet showing Roseanne at a fundraiser in Houston, standing next to none other than Jasmine Crockett, before she ever ran for office. In the caption, Roseanne had written, "Greater than, this woman is the real deal. She reminds me of who I used to be." That tweet exploded, not because it exposed hypocrisy, but because it told a forgotten truth. Roseanne had once admired Jasmine. That night, reporters swarmed Jasmine outside a town hall. Microphones, cameras, and flashing lights surrounded her like fireflies in a storm. Congresswoman Crockett, any response to Roseanne Barr's attack? She paused, took a breath, and then said something no one expected. "I remember the night we met," she began softly. "She told me I had a fire in me, that I reminded her of a younger version of herself. I don't know what changed for her since then. But I know what hasn't changed for me, my commitment to lifting others up. Even those who tear me down." There was no sarcasm, no bitterness, just grace. The next day, an unexpected tweet came from Roseanne's account. It was longer than usual, and unusually quiet in tone. "Greater than, looking back, I see how I let anger blind me. Jasmine Crockett has always stood for the things I once believed in. Maybe it's time I start believing again." It didn't go viral, it didn't change politics overnight, but it sparked something rare, reflection. And that weekend, in a community center in South Dallas, a retired comedian anonymously donated $10,000 to fund a literacy program, the same one Jasmine had launched to help single mothers earn their GEDs. The days that followed felt different. News cycles moved on, as they always do, but something lingered. Not the drama, not the headlines, something deeper. In local coffee shops, in church circles, in college classrooms, people were talking about grace. About how someone like Jasmine Crockett didn't just win an argument, she changed the conversation. And not just with words. A small journalism student at Howard University, inspired by Jasmine's response, decided to write her final thesis on the power of public grace in modern politics. She titled it, "Let the Fire Stay Soft." That paper ended up winning a national scholarship. A high school civics teacher in Alberta, Canada played Jasmine's response in class, using it to teach students about emotional intelligence. "This," she told her students, "is how you stand your ground without stepping on someone else's." Meanwhile, in the UK, a retired nurse named Elizabeth wrote a letter, the kind no one sends anymore, addressed to Congresswoman Crockett. In it, she wrote, "Greater than, my daughter and I watched your response together. I cried, not because you defended yourself, but because you didn't need to. Thank you for reminding this old woman what strength really looks like." 2 months later, at a women's leadership summit in New York, Jasmine stepped off the stage after delivering her keynote, a powerful speech titled, "Leading with Love in the Age of Rage." As she made her way backstage, a quiet figure waited near the curtains. It was Roseanne. No cameras, no entourage, just her. For a moment, the two stood in silence. Then Roseanne spoke, eyes lowered but voice steady. "I'm sorry. I forgot how much good still lives in this world. I forgot that fire doesn't have to destroy, it can light the way." "You reminded me." Jasmine smiled gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You didn't forget. You just got lost. We all do sometimes." That night, a candid photo surfaced online, not posted by media, but by an anonymous volunteer. It showed Jasmine and Roseanne sitting side by side in folding chairs backstage, laughing quietly over tea, like two old friends remembering something beautiful they'd once shared. No filters, no hashtags, just humanity. And that image, simple and real, ended up on the front page of several major newspapers under the headline, "When Grace Leads, Walls Fall." In a world addicted to outrage, we forget how healing humility can be. Jasmine Crockett didn't just win a battle of words, she ignited a wave of reflection. A reminder that compassion is not weakness, and kindness isn't silence. That character is not measured by how loudly you shout, but by how deeply you care. And as for Roseanne Barr, she proved something, too, that redemption isn't reserved for saints. It belongs to anyone brave enough to say, "I was wrong, but I can be better." Because sometimes, the real power isn't in clapping back, but in reaching out. And that is the kind of story that can change not just headlines, but hearts. We live in a world where voices are loud and tempers short. Where insults fly faster than empathy. But sometimes, kindness doesn't clap back, it calls people home. Jasmine Crockett reminded us that character isn't proved in moments of rage, but in how we respond to them. And Roseanne Barr, well, she reminded us that it's never too late to remember who you were, and choose who you want to be. Because at the end of the day, the echo of kindness travels farther than the noise of hate.